Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and I want to welcome you to week 2 of my Inktober exploration. This time I have a grab bag of images for you. Flowers to Halloween. Let's get started and see what did I come up with.
All right. So this is the rose. And I found a really pretty picture of a rose that my husband had taken. And then I looked at some other roses and I kept going back to this one because it was this lovely full cupped rose, but it wasn't a bazillion petals. So I could get the fullness of a wild English type rose but not have to deal with all of those teensy, teensy, tiny petals all over the place. And when you draw a rose, if you start with some of those inner petals first, it makes it a lot easier to go and draw the outer petals going around. Now, I will do this one as a full spoken video, but it will have to be a brand new video because when I was recording this rose, I did not turn on my microphone. So I just sat back and enjoyed the process. When you draw this kind of a rose, if you put those slightly curved and ruffled edges, it makes it a lot easier to give you places to create shadows and to create form. So it looks like a rose when you're done. You've got highlight areas and you have low light areas. It's a lot of fun to do something like this. And when you have a picture in front of you to draw the rose from, you really can look at it and see where was it high, where was it low, where's the color going to be. I don't put any color on this rose. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I think that it would look very pretty colored in with soft lemony yellows and pinks because it is more of that peace type rose. And I love that kind of rose. The smell of it, that lemon smell with that slightly spicy touch to it. It just smells like late spring and early summer to me. But this particular rose I am not going to color in. It turns out to look almost like a black etching type of rose, or one of those roses that you would see as an illustration in an old time book. And I like that. I thought that was really neat. We get so tied up with wanting to have color in everything. You don't have to have color on every single picture to make it look like what it's supposed to be. Now, this cat, I did do a light pencil sketch. It's the only thing that I've really done a pencil sketch on. And it started out really well, but then I put those eyes on. And even at this point, it's not too bad. But then I decide I'm going to color this one in and I'm going to use my alcohol markers to do it. And they're really heavy and they're really dark. So first I did the eyes, and now once you see the color going on with these alcohol markers doing these eyes, you can see how wonky it is. What can I say? He ends up looking a little demented, and it's okay. I mean, I'm learning. This really was my very first picture that I have ever done with the alcohol markers. And this did not scare me off of doing alcohol markers, but I know that I need to start out a lot differently. I can't just go straight to this really, really dark. I do go back in and put highlights in with a white uniball marker or white uniball pen, uh, because as you see, this black kitty is all black except for his eyes. And they really look wonky. I have to work on my confidence in putting down my pen and pencil lines when I put two eyes. And I know that. And I need to make sure if I do a pencil drawing that I am putting it in accurately to begin with. I didn't get it accurate. And that is where this really, really went sideways. Because if I covered up that back eye or had his head turned just a little bit more so that eye was really not to the front, it would have been fine. It would have been fine. So now I'm putting in those highlights. I love the Uniball white pen. That's the UM53 white Uniball pen. And for me, it works really, really well. See, you can put in these highlights over the top of the alcohol marker because the Uniball pen is a different type of ink. And the whiskers actually went in really nice, and it definitely needed the whiskers to look more cat-like. I love the front eye, the back eye not so much. And it's okay, and I had to show it to you because not everything we do turns out to be perfect. We don't live in a Pinterest life or an Instagram life where everything we do is beautiful. Although I really do like the sunflower, and I've already put up the sunflower video. I will link that here with an iCard so that you can click on it and have the actual video that walks step by step through exactly what I do here and all of the steps. But just as a quick rundown, I did a continuous line petals for the first layer of petals and then started adding the other petals in between. I did do some stippling here in the center. Remember, if you are stippling, you lightly touch the pen to the paper. You do not pound. If you pound that tip to the paper, you will damage your pen, and you don't want that to happen. These pens can take a certain amount of abuse, but not the kind that stippling does to them if you are heavy-handed. So use a light hand. Use a light hand when you're doing these lines also. They can become a little overwhelming if you decide you're going to put in color afterwards. This one I'm not coloring, but I will draw another one to do color because I've had so many video requests for how to color the sunflower. And I will practice with my Copic knockoff pens. Those are TouchFive markers. They're alcohol markers. I got a set of 84 for like $50 on eBay. And they came directly from Korea. So, they're knockoff markers. They're not as highly pigmented as Copic markers. And that's okay too, because I'm just learning and finding out, indeed, I think I do want to do more alcohol marker coloring and pictures. So I need to learn, and these markers will be really good little training wheels to start off with. And again, if you're going to color it with markers, I would put in a whole lot less detail on the pens. I would put in a whole lot less detail on these petals because you're going to want to put color in and you want to show shading, darkness, and light highlights with the color, not just with the tone that I've put on with these pen lines. Ooh. Okay, so I am tired and I am stumbling over some of my words. I'm going to leave that in though, because this is a real time just chatting along as I'm watching my video go. And I hope that you're enjoying this. If you are, click that subscribe button and that like button. Make sure that you share the video with your friends and leave me a comment and let me know. Do you like these kinds of recap videos? Because I don't mind doing them. I have 2 more scheduled. So if you like them, let me know. Leave that thumbs up and leave a comment. Now the lavender, I've already put up the video for the lavender also. And I do some coloring on it. Just a little bit, not too heavy-handed, but the color surprised me, and you hear about that if you watch the whole video, which I will put an iCard right here in the top right corner for the lavender video also. You know, it's so much fun to do this. Now, lavender is one of those plants that is so aromatic, and it is very restful for many people unless you're allergic to it. And I have found over the years that I have become sensitive to the scent of lavender, which is really a shame because it is one of my most favorite smells. And I do have several lavender bushes in my front yard. And I can actually have them in the front yard. I can brush past them and I can smell it for just a second, but then I have to move away and go in the house or be away from it for a while. The scent can just be a little too overwhelming. The other thing that I have gotten sensitive to are the wild sweet violets in the early spring, one of those first flowers that blooms. And I wonder if it's because they are purple flowers. I just thought of that. Who knows? Do purple flowers have special scent properties that can cause allergic reactions? I don't know. But I do know that I love the smell of both of them, and I'm not allowed to just bury my face in them anymore, which is a real bummer. I love how pretty this gentle little spray of lavender looks. It almost looks like an illustration, like a flyleaf or something like that in an old-timey book where they did the hand-colored plates of photos, or not of photos because they didn't use photos, but of prints in old books. They would put a hand-colored plate of flowers on some of those books, and it was really a lot of fun to see. And now I'm doing an anemone. It is a fun word to say. And these flowers are beautiful. They're fun, they're brilliant colors, or they're subtle colors, but they always have this very dark button in the center of stamens and the center cushion. And I just realized that that looks almost like a little eyeball in the very center of that. So now I'm talking about how you put 5 petals going around, and then you'll put 5 more petals going around to make the flower. And it works best if you have a wiggly line, because that gives you places to draw down, just like that, and create the wrinkles in the flower, the little shading that you get from the directional lines. I love how quickly this flower actually goes in, and it would be a really nice one to color. I didn't put such a heavy amount of black on it. I love coloring in this Strathmore 500 mixed media notebook. It is so nice. The paper is so heavy. And this is not a sponsored video. I just happen to be using this for my Inktober, and so you hear me talk about it every once in a while. It is heavy paper. It's got a nice texture to it. And even doing the alcohol marker, it doesn't bleed through to the next page. I have not had any of it touch the page underneath. even if I slide a protector sheet between the pages, nothing has gone onto the protector sheet. And even when I did the lavender, I didn't even put a protector sheet in. I just did it and then realized that I hadn't put the protector in and lucked out. You can kind of see that on the page every once in a while I'm twirling the book around. You can see the other side of the lavender picture. But this one is almost done already. You see how quickly it goes in. And yes, this is a sped up video, but this particular flower only took about 8 minutes. Now, my long-eared owl. Long-eared owls look like baby owls wearing a great horned owl hoodie. They really do. They have this look about them where the feathers that come out around the eyes are like the edge of a hood. And then the feathers that come out, or that those lines that are dashed in that are going around, actually look like the real hood of a hoodie. And then it will get the long ears of feathers up at the top. It's so cute. And it takes a little bit of time to put it in, but not too much. And I do pull out the Copic markers. The Copic markers. I keep wanting to say Copic markers. Maybe I want to buy Copic markers. I take out the TouchFive markers and actually do his eyes and then put a little bit of color around on the body and head feathers. But right now, this is that part that looks like the owl, the baby owl inside of a hoodie. It just makes me smile when I look at this. And I'm sorry about my head getting in the way every once in a while. I try to keep it out of the way, but you know, sometimes things happen. And that's just the way it is. I hope you don't mind that I've been kind of rambling a little bit. This owl is actually up as its own video, how to draw also, with a step-by-step and no speed video going on. So that's why I'm not really talking too much in depth about how this goes. There is an iCard up above in that top corner for this owl also. And I just had so much fun doing this. The eyes really make me happy. They came out really well. I'm learning how to blend my colors. I'm learning how to choose different colors to give highlight, to give low light, to give a roundness to these. And I remembered to leave the white in the middle of the pupils of the owl, of his eyes. So it worked out really well. And then, you know, here we go. It's almost done. And I had so much fun. Now you can see over my left hand the owl eyes, and you can see the page that I'm drawing on. Nothing bled through onto that page that I'm drawing on right now. So I am doing a scary pumpkin-y scarecrow. And this will be going up on Sunday. So, or maybe Saturday afternoon. I haven't quite decided when this video is going to go up, since this video that we're listening to right now is Saturday's video. So I think that the pumpkin guy is going to be on Sunday. And he's a lot of fun. I did it so it looks like branches for his arms are attached inside, and like it's an old tattered blanket that's been pinned over him to be his cloak or coat. And by doing this, it gave me the opportunity to play with wrinkles and to play with shadows, lots of shadows and highlights in this. the sticks going back and forth to be the body and kind of keep the coat pulled out away, or the blanket pulled out away from the center stick, just gives the Scarecrow more scariness. I almost put a raven landing on his head, and then I decided no, I wanted this to be almost like the Scarecrow from the Sleepy Hollow movie. Almost like it. It's not exactly like that, but I wanted it to evoke that type of feeling of that really scary pumpkin head Scarecrow. So by doing it this way, I could play with it. I put patches on the fabric and just make it look tattered. It's a lot of fun. There will be a face on here too. And I just want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me for Inktober week 2. And make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Don't forget, next week, a whole nother set of videos is coming. Go out, do something creative, take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you.